Hello, dear students. Welcome to this video lecture on Ode on Melancholy, written by John Keats in 1819. In this video lecture, we will be critically analyzing the poem and then we will ponder upon some questions related to the poem. Ode to Melancholy is a poem comprising of 3 stanzas, and each stanza has 10 lines written in pentameter. So we'll start stanza-wise analysis first, and then we will proceed for some questions that may be asked in examinations, and then we will discuss the summary also. This is a poem in which John Keats asks the people who are laden with sorrow to not to give up. This is a poem of encouragement. This is a poem of hope. Unlike the other odes where we find Keats crying over the human agonies, in this poem we find that Keats is teaching us lessons of positivity and encouragement. It's a complex poem in terms of philosophy, but it is simple to understand. We can say that this poem is one of the precursors of present day self-help literature. Let us come to the analysis of the poem. The first stanza goes like this. No, no, go not to Lethe, neither twist wolf's bane, tight-rooted for its poisonous wine. Keats asks the melancholic people, the sad people, that please don't go to Lethe river to drink its water and wash your memory away. Lethe is a mythical river. Anyone who drinks its water loses the memories of past. Keats says to the people, those people who are really sad, he says that, oh, don't go to Lethe to drink from the water, from its waters, which would make you lose your memory. Do not uproot wolf's bane plant. It's a kind of plant which is very poisonous. So he says that don't uproot wolf's bane plant to drink its poisonous juice or sap to commit suicide. Nor suffer thy pale forehead be kissed by nightshade, ruby grape of prosperine. He further asks those who are sad to not to rub their pale forehead, and he asks them not to drink the ruby grape of prosperine. Now, ruby grape of prosperine is again a poison, and prosperine is lady god or goddess of underground. Now, grape of prosperine. So don't drink poison even from prosperine to kill yourself. He further says, make not your rosary of yew berries. Yew berries are again poisonous berries. He admonishes the sorrowful souls to not to make rosary beds of yew berries. Further, he says that do not make beetle or death moths to be your models, nor let the beetle nor the death moth be your mournful psyche, nor the downy owl. He says that don't give up. Don't take these steps to wash away your memory. He further says that don't think about the beetle or the death moth, because these are the insects that symbolize death, the end, because they feed over the dead bodies, the dead materials. Keats says that do not make beetle or death moths be your model. Do not let them haunt your psyche, Do not let them into your mindset. Do not, nor the downy owl, a partner in your sorrow's mystery. Do not even think about any owl to make partner of your sorrow's mystery. For shade to shade will come too drowsily. If you go like this, if you do this, then your melancholy will be integrated. It will increase and drown the wakeful anguish of the soul. And then it will make your soul drown into melancholy. This stanza asks the melancholic people to not to do so many things. In this stanza, Keats is forbidding the suffering souls to not take any adverse or not to take any steps to kill themselves. Now let us move to the second stanza. In the second stanza, poets is bit positive. He says, but when the melancholy fit shall fall sudden from heaven like a waving cloud, but when the melancholy falls on you like a thundering cloud, all of a sudden from heaven, like a waning cloud that fosters on droop-headed flowers all. If it comes down on you, that means if the cloud of melancholy bursts on you, and just like the cloud burst falls on flowers and hides the green hill in the April shout, and due as a result of such wild shower, fog is created in the month of April, and that fog hides the green hills. Nothing becomes visible. Now these two, the third and the fourth line in the poem are very symbolic. Even if a high degree of melancholic reason falls upon you, don't give up. Even it falls upon you like a wild cloud which falls upon flowers, makes the flowers drooping over land, and hides the beautiful scenery in the shroud that is the fog. Even then, don't give up. Then glut thy. In such situation, what should you do? The poet says, then glut thy sorrow on morning rose. Then you glut your sorrow on morning rose. See the morning rose, or on the rainbow of the salt sand wave, or you just observe or think about the rainbow that is made over the seashore, or on the wells of globe peonies, or you take care, or you think about the globe peonies there. Even in such time, these the rainbow will come for a short while. The wild rose will bloom for a short while. So take inspiration from these natural things. The last three lines. Or if thy mistress some rich anger shows, imprison her soft hand and let her rave, and feed deep, deep upon her peerless eyes. The poet says that if your mistress, your wife, becomes angry, extremely anger on you, in that condition also don't lose your temper, don't become sad. Rather, take her soft hand into yours and feed deep, deep, and look into her deep, peerless eyes, deep, beautiful eyes, so that her anger vanishes. The crux of this stanza is that you should not lose faith. In even if you are melancholic, try to look over the beautiful things, so that the power of melancholy reduces. So in the first stanza, we saw that the poet was forbidding us to take some steps in case of melancholy. In the second stanza, Keats is telling us what to do. Even if a high degree of melancholy has shrouded you, then also you should not lose faith. You should look towards some natural things that come for a very short while and they are lost. Even if somebody is angry on you, look into the deep, beautiful eyes and try to calm the person down or calm your anguish. In the Now let's come to the third stanza. It goes like this: she dwells with beauty, beauty that must die, and joy whose hand is ever at the lips, bidding adieu and aching pleasure nigh, turning to poison while the bee mouth sips. Let me analyze the first four lines first. Now, who is she here? The word she is written for melancholy. Keats says that melancholy is always coupled with beauty, because beauty has to die. One day or other, the beauty has to vanish. It has to grow old. So the moment it dies or grow old, the melancholy will come up. So every beautiful thing has an element of melancholy in it. And joy whose hand is ever at his lips. And joy has his hands on the lips of melancholy, bidding adieu and arcing pleasure nigh. Every beautiful thing has to bid adieu, has to say goodbye to this world. So melancholy and beauty are closely related to each other. A, in the very temple of delight, veiled melancholy has her sovereign shrine. The poet further says that in the very temple of delight, in the temple of happiness, that means in the soul of happiness, melancholy is always hidden. Though seen of none save him whose sternest tongue can't burst joy's grape against his palate fine, his soul shall taste the sadness of her might and be among her cloudly trophies hung. He says that one who understands this truth of melancholy, who understands this very reason of the fading away of beauty, is the perfect soul, and he tastes the sadness. One who tastes this sadness will be a person who will be remembered forever, from whom happiness will not go away. So melancholy is inseparable from beauty, because beauty doesn't last forever. It's a part of joy, John Keats says, who is always holding his hands up to mouth. The person who does so, that means a person who embraces joy, beauty, and melancholy together, will taste melancholy's sad power, and such a person's soul will be kept by her as a symbol of inevitable victory. This, it's a short poem. Now let us come to the summary. Ode to Melancholy is one of the 6 odes written by John Keats. And these odes were written in succession. One ode, that is Ode to Autumn, was written a bit late after an interval of 2 or 3 months. But the exact order of writing of these odes is still not clear. That means we cannot say that which ode was written first, whether Ode to Nightingale was written first, or Ode on Melancholy was written first, or Ode on Indolence was written first. This ode is different from all other odes because it doesn't criticize mortality nor anguish. It doesn't criticize human world. The other odes are full of criticism of human life, but here in this ode we don't find that criticism. Rather, the poet accepts that human world is full of agonies, and these agonies or these melancholic conditions are to be embraced. They are required. They are part of this world, and anybody who embraces these is a perfect man, according to John Keats. This is a poem of encouragement. The poet encourages the people to fight with the difficult condition. It tells the people not to give up, not to commit suicide, not to run away, not to escape. Rather, it encourages to fight with the condition, to prevail over this over the melancholic causes. It gives emotional support and guidance to the people. It helps the people in raising their morale. It asks the reader to raise morale so high that melancholy becomes smaller. It asks people to be stronger. It also offers way of responding to despair. We have seen that in the first stanza, Keats is forbidding us. He is asking us to not to do some tasks. In the second stanza, he is asking us uh, to what to do, what actions should be taken. And in the third stanza, he is consoling us, or the sorrowful souls, by telling the interrelations between melancholy and beauty. This is not a poem of escapism. It is in this poem that the poet John Keats is trying to prove that beauty and melancholy are complementary to each other. And as I told you earlier, that it is because of these very reasons, it can be said that this poem is early precursor of self-help and motivational literature that we find nowadays uh, in every bookstall. It is a poem of positivity. Let us try to discuss some of the questions which may be asked in your examination. From examination point of view, you should know how to answer them. So I have discussed the three questions and slightly tried to hint the contents that should be there or which may be expected by your well-versed. So the first question is, justify Ode on Melancholy as a poem of encouragement or positivity. In answer to this question, you must include that the ode encourages not to submit to death. You should try to prove this by citing some of the lines from this poem. Then the second thing that you must discuss at length is that it does not allow us to give up, which is the major theme of the first stanza. This poem raises our morale by a variety of means. It tells us that even if melancholy falls over you, you should not do this. It encourages us to accept the bad times or the sad times or bad patches in life with positive reasons. Then it relates melancholy as a part of life. This is the biggest achievement of this poem. It says that melancholy is complementary to beauty, and hence it is a poem of encouragement. It encourages people to accept the melancholic times or the sad, bad patches. It teaches us the way to respond to anger also. You must remember the second stanza. The last four lines of the second stanza reminds us as to what should be done to subside anger that is cropping inside our heart. It describes that all that is beautiful has an element of melancholy. So these are the 5 or 6 points that you need to discuss at length. Even if you write 2 paragraphs on each with proper citations, your answer may be near to perfection. Then the second question that is asked is, write a critical appreciation of Ode on Melancholy. So in this, in answer to this question, you need to do a stanza-wise analysis of the poem that we have done and justify the poet's point of view. And you need to discuss the structure. How many stanzas are there? Then how many lines are there? What's the structure? Then the rhyming scheme. If there are any literary devices, then also you need to point out there. Then you need to discuss about the theme of the poem. The third question that may crop up is describe the major themes of Ode to Melancholy. And in answer to this question, you need to write that this poem is a poem of encouragement or positivity, as I have told you before. You need to talk about the different themes. So the first one is encouragement to live. That's the major theme here. The second theme is melancholy. It's not the nature, it's melancholy. The third thing is beauty and its impermanence. And fourth and the last is that relation of melancholy with human life. The fifth and very important one that I feel is that you should try to also describe that anti-escapism is also one of the themes of this poem. With this, we come to the end of this video lecture on Ode on Melancholy. I believe you like this video, so please like, Please comment and subscribe to my channel, and see you with a new video lecture tomorrow. Thank you very much.